Everyone say good morning. Good. I'm over here all alone. I don't know what happened, but all these people got up and left. So if some of you people in the back would like to come up, because if I get lonesome, I might cry.
I'm sitting right there.
And I know you'd hate to see that.
Yeah, but now
So would I.
down, aren't you? Everyone moves down? Why are we moving down?
You know, I've never known a Tilly before. Does everybody know Tilly?
Yeah. Hi, Tilly.
My choir director from years past always periodically had an Aunt Tilly's Sunday. That was when you didn't have to show up for choir that day and you could go visit Aunt Tilly, and I didn't have an Aunt Tilly.
No, we had one.
But maybe you'll be my aunt.
Talking about Mike.
All right, let's get going here. I want to thank some people. Bob is our usual sound person, and he's not here. Jean Raleigh is filling in for him.
Yeah, that's because.
But our coffee ladies, Cheryl Sisney at the
we should move
coffee
the mics
pot.
up.
Wave to us, Cheryl.
That's there.
Goodness, I felt that.
And Bobby Bartling is, yeah, hi Bobby. She's guarding the cookies, and May Grandy is
Oh, he's raising the stage.
tending the tea, I guess.
That vibration.
I promised you that I would introduce. I think I need to stand back a little bit. Jean, getting a little bit of feedback. I promised I would. Hello. Are we okay? Just a little bit. I guess we're okay now. I promised I'd introduce the committee members. It takes a bunch of us to keep you entertained on Monday mornings. We thank you for appearing this year. We've had exceptionally good attendance for Kaffe Klatch this year, and you keep coming back, so that tells us that you like what we're doing. Committee members, would you stand, please, as I mention you? Not all of you, just as I mention you. Oh. Stay down. Ann Bergen, first of all, because she starts with a B. So, Ann. Dick Bryce, did I see Dick? Yeah, there he is. Velma Finnern, there she is. Velma is our wonderful secretary, and she keeps everything on point. I didn't think Helen Alderson could ever be replaced, but Velma has done a really, really wonderful job, and I appreciate her so much. Rose Frankfurt. Rose is our vice chairman, and she really does all the work. She promised if I would agree to chair it, she would do the work, and she's pretty much held up her end of that bargain. Ann Hurt is our chair emeritus. She talked me into this many years ago, and I can't get out of it. I guess I told you last meeting I had to leave the last meeting to take a telephone call, and when I came back, I found out I'd been reelected.
Yeah, that's on.
Let's see, my name is next. You know me, Larry Latham. Marjorie Maud. Marjorie does all those wonderful articles in the Villager. I don't have to do anything. She just gathers the information that the committee members send her, and she does the articles. Carter Rogers. Bob Stanley. And last but not least, Nancy Walters. Oh, how did I skip over Gail? I knew I missed somebody, and I always do that. Last time it was Eloise. I left you for last because Gail has really been special. she does all those posters that you see so often, and that's a lot of work, and she and Marjorie coordinate that so well without any help from me. And Gail has also done, I think, 2 of our programs this year, haven't you? And she even stepped in when somebody couldn't somebody was in the healthcare center that was supposed to do one, and she stepped in and took over that program and just did a magnificent job. And I'm really sorry. I knew there was somebody, and I was looking here. I don't know how I do that. Anyway, okay, that's enough of me. Marjorie, Maud, take it away.
Thank you, Larry. I was doing some figuring around this morning, and I realized this is our 20th Readers Theater since I took over as director. We have done, of course, our annual Christmas pageants. We've done programs on cats. We've done programs on Halloween and Valentine's Day and all kinds of wonderful and weird things. And we have a lot of fun doing it. I have a great time finding the material. And sometimes it's ready-made for me. When we did the cats program, we used T.S. Eliot's book, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. So that was real easy. And we did Dr. Seuss's book about, how far you go, the old age one, and that was a lot of fun. Well, today we're going to discuss how the you-know-what we got to be so damned old. And we will start off now.
This program's not about youngsters and the way they spend their days. It's all about us old folks and our fuddy-duddy ways.
Sometimes it's hard to figure what life is all about. Our brains are finally working. Now our bodies are giving out.
Or perhaps we're right on schedule for a very special date. Our bodies running right on time, but our minds are running late.
Well, what does it all matter in the scheme and theme of things, as long as we find comfort in the joy that laughter brings?
We'll share our tales with others so they can find laughter too. You can bet your bottom dollar the tales will all be true.
And when you've finished hearing about folks like you and me, you'll be surprised and pleased to know you're normal as can be.
People say that age is just a state of mind. I say it's more about the state of your body. Jeffrey Parfit.
For the first half of your life, people tell you what you should do. For the second half, they tell you what you should have done. Richard Needham.
I refuse to admit I'm more than 52, even if that does make my sons illegitimate. Nancy Astor.
A stockbroker urged me to buy a stock that would triple its value every year. I told him, at my age, I don't even buy green bananas. Senator Claude Pepper.
You know you're getting old when everything hurts, and what doesn't hurt doesn't work. Hi, Gardner.
If I had known I was going to live this long, I'd have taken better care of myself. U.B. Blake.
I'm so old, they've canceled my blood type. Bob Hope.
I think age is a very high price to pay for maturity. Tom Stoppard.
I can't wait to tell my kids I was born before the internet.
In childhood, we yearn to be grown-ups. In old age, we yearn to be kids. It just seems that all would be wonderful if we didn't have to celebrate our birthdays in chronological order. Robert Burl.
An octogenarian visited his doctor. I think I'm getting senile, he said. The doctor replied, I don't think you're senile. Let's look for a different diagnosis instead. But I keep forgetting to do up my fly, the old man said, after I've been for a pee. The doctor smiled, and then he replied, not opening your fly before you pee. Now that's senility.
Old age is a lot of crossed-off names in an address book. Ronald Blythe.
When I was young, I was called a rugged individualist. When I was in my 50s, I was considered eccentric. Here I am doing and saying the same things I did then, and I'm labeled senile, George Burns.
I'm like a good cheese. I'm just getting moldy enough to be interesting. Paul Newman.
It's true that some wines improve with age, but only if the grapes were good in the first place. Abigail Van Buren.
Some people die at 25 and aren't buried until they're 75. Benjamin Franklin.
As you get older, the pickings get slimmer, but the people don't. Carrie Fisher.
Don't let aging get you down. It's too hard to get back up. John Wagner.
I guess I don't mind so much being old as I mind being fat and old. Peter Gabriel.
Age mellows some people. Others, it makes rotten.
Middle age ends and senescence begins the day your descendants outnumber your friends. Ogden Nash.
When I get up in the morning, I feel stiff and achy, so I go to the doctor, who says, it's just a little arthritis. Take an aspirin.
When I eat a rich meal, I get heartburn and pains in my chest. So I go to the doctor, who says it's just indigestion. Take an antacid.
When my heart beats too fast and skips a few beats, I go to the doctor, who says, it happens sometimes. Don't worry about it.
When I can't fall asleep or I wake up in the middle of the night, I go to the doctor who says, don't take a nap in the afternoon.
When I'm at a party and everyone mumbles, I go to the doctor who says, loss of hearing in the higher ranges is normal at your age.
When I can't read the phone book anymore, I go to the doctor who says, go to the drugstore and buy a pair of glasses.
When I take a walk and my hip bothers me, I go to the doctor who says it's osteoarthritis. Keep walking.
When I don't feel well, I go to the doctor who says, this is what being older feels like.
The secret of staying young is to live honestly, eat slowly, and lie about your age. Lucille Ball.
Old age is not so bad when you consider the alternative. Maurice Chevalier.
As you get older, 3 things happen. The first is your memory goes, and I can't remember the other 2. Sir Norman Wisdom.
Respect old people. They graduated school without Google or Wikipedia.
There is absolutely nothing to be said in favor of growing old. There ought to be a law against it. Patrick Moore.
Old age is like everything else. To make a success of it, you've got to start young. Theodore Roosevelt.
I will never be an old man. To me, old age is always 15 years older than I am. Francis Bacon.
Old age is no place for sissies. Betty Davis.
Old age is like a plane flying through a storm. Once you're aboard, there's nothing you can do. Golda Meir.
Old age is an excellent time for outrage. My goal is to say or do at least one outrageous thing every week. Louis Cronenberger.
So Cleopatra's withering and J. Alfred's growing old, while I am feeling ancient, archaic, dottery, and decrepit. So much more than just mature. My joints are crunching creakily, my bones most likely crumbled. Just a dilapidated shell. Yes, though I am time-worn and weathered, I can most definitely affirm that I am still sage and seasoned, not yet senile or declining. Yes, I'm wizened and wrinkled, but no crotchety old crone. Though to you I seem archaic, antediluvian, a fossil, but as an octogenarian, I'm really a golden oldie. Age is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Mark Twain.
True terror is to wake up one morning and discover that your high school class is running the country. Kurt Vonnegut.
An archaeologist is the best husband a woman could have. The older she gets, the more interested he is in her. Agatha Christie.
Like everyone else who makes the mistake of getting older, I begin each day with coffee and obituaries.
I don't feel old. I don't feel anything till noon. That's when it's time for my nap. Bob Hope.
You don't stop laughing because you grow older. You grow older because you stop laughing. Marie Chevalier.
I think when the full horror of being 75 hits you, you should stay home and have a good cry. Josh Billings.
I finally reached the age where my wild oats have turned into all bran. Tom Wilson.
I have so many liver spots, I ought to come with a side of onions. Phyllis Diller.
You can't be as old as I am with waking up with a surprised look on your face every morning and thinking, holy cow, what do you know? I'm still around. Paul Newman.
Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my shape to keep. Please, no wrinkles. Please, no bags. Please lift my butt before it sags. Please, no age spots. Please, no gray. And as for my belly, please take it away. Please help me be healthy and let me be strong. And I'll thank you, dear Lord, all the day long.
Amen.
Today, when passing my mirror on by, I saw an image that filled me with fright. My mother looking me straight in the eye, her wrinkles, gray hair on my face in this light.
And seeing I'd aged to such a degree, I sought to examine myself further on down, and saw not my housecoat hitting my knee, but boobs hanging down the length of my gown.
I tried not to sob at this aging crap, throwing my arms up in resigned acceptance. And that's when my arm skin started to flap, flopping all over in an excited dance.
I smiled just to keep from giving it all up, then noticed I'd left my teeth in their cup.
The really frightening thing about middle age is the knowledge that you'll grow out of it. Doris Day.
Linda?
Sorry. Life would be infinitely happier if we could only be born at the age of 80 and gradually approach 18. Mark Twain.
There's one advantage to being 102. There's no peer pressure. Dennis Wolfberg.
New research has indicated something called male menopause, where men get fatter and lose interest in sex. It's also known as football season. Conan O'Brien.
My grandmother started walking 5 miles a day when she was 60. She's 97 now, and we don't know where the heck she is. Ellen DeGeneres.
The economy's so bad, women in Beverly Hills are telling their real age just to get the AARP discount. Jay Leno.
I don't look like Halle Berry, but chances are she's going to end up looking like me, Whoopi Goldberg.
According to most studies, people's number one fear is public speaking. Number 2 is death. This means for the average person, if you go to a funeral, you're better off in the casket than giving the eulogy. Jerry Seinfeld.
God grant me the senility to forget the people I never liked anyway, the good fortune to run into the ones I do like, and the eyesight to tell the difference.
At age 20, we worry about what others think of us. At age 40, we don't care what they think of us. At age 60, we realize that they never were thinking of us.
You know you're getting old when your Social Security number has only 3 digits. It takes a couple of tries to get over a speed bump. You have a party and the neighbors don't even realize it. You light the candles on your birthday cake and a group of campers form a circle and start singing Kumbaya. You find yourself beginning to like accordion music. At parties you attend, the topic of choice is regularity. You can live without sex, but you can't live without your glasses. Your ears and your nose have more hair than your head. You stoop to tie your shoes and wonder what else you can do while you're down there. George Burns.
Life is indeed grossly unfair. Now I'm older and still have my wits. I've finally got my head together, but my body's falling to bits.
I don't want to achieve immortality through my work. I want to achieve it by not dying. Woody Allen.
All of a sudden, I'm older than my parents were when I thought they were old. Louis Weiss.
You know you're getting older when the candles cost more than the cake. Bob Hope.
It's a sign of age if you feel like the morning after the night before and you haven't been anywhere.
Old people are fond of giving good advice. It consoles them for no longer being capable of setting a bad example. Francois de la Rochefoucauld.
80 is a landmark, and people treat you differently than they do when you're 79. At 79, if you drop something, it just lies there. At 80, people pick it up for you. Helen Van Slyke.
Don't think of it as wrinkles. Think of it as relaxed, fit skin. Kathy Crimmins.
In August, my husband and I celebrated our 38th wedding anniversary. You know what I realized? If I had killed that man when I first thought about it, I'd have been out of jail by now. Anita Milner.
Inside every older person is a younger person wondering, what happened? Jennifer Unlimited.
My forgetter is getting better, but my rememberer is broke. Oftentimes, I walk into a room and say, "What am I here for?" I rack my brain, but all in vain. A 0 is my score. At times, I put something away where it is safe, but gee, the person it's safest from generally is me. When shopping, I may see someone, say hi, and have a great chat. Then when the person walks away, I ask myself, who the heck was that? Yes, my forgetter's getting better, but my rememberer is broke, and it's driving me plumb crazy, and that isn't any joke. For when I'm here, I'm wondering if I really should be there, and when I try to think it through, I haven't got a prayer.
Yes, we oldsters do tweet, but our tweets look different. For example, BFF, best friend fell. BYOT, bring your own teeth. FWIW, forgot where I was. GOOMW, get out of my way. LMDO, laughing my dentures out. ROFL, CGU, rolling on floor laughing, can't get up. WIWYA, when I was your age. WTF, wait, too fast.
I'm 65, and I guess that puts me with the geriatrics. But if there were 15 months in every year, I'd only be 48. James Thurber.
My grandmother was a very tough woman. She buried 3 husbands. 2 of them were only napping. Rita Rudner.
My grandmother is 90. She's dating. He's 93. They never argue. And it's going great. They can't hear each other. Kathy Ledman.
It's not a sin to be 70, but it's also no joke. Golda Meir.
Nobody knows the age of the human race, but all agree that it is old enough to know better.
Middle age is when your narrow waist and broad mind change places.
Experience enables you to recognize a mistake when you make it again. Franklin P. Jones.
I don't plan to grow old gracefully. I plan to keep having facelifts until my ears meet. Rita Rudner.
Old is when your doctor doesn't give you x-rays anymore, just holds you up to the light.
Their principal objection to old age is that there's no future in it.
An elderly gent was invited to an old friend's home for dinner one evening. He was impressed by the way his buddy preceded every request to his wife with endearing terms. Honey, my love, darling, sweetheart, pumpkin, etc. The couple had been married almost 70 years, and clearly they were still very much in love. While the wife was in the kitchen, the man leaned over and said to his host, "I think it's wonderful that after all these years, you still call your wife those loving pet names." The old man hung his head. "To tell you the truth," he said, "I forgot her name about 10 years ago."
Even the most advanced virus protection programs from Norton or McAfee cannot take care of this one. It appears to mostly affect those of us who were born prior to 1960. Symptoms: causes you to send the same email twice, to send a blank email, to send email to the wrong person, to send it back to the person who sent it to you, to forget to attach the attachment, to hit send button before you finished, to hit delete instead of send. It's called the senile virus.
Birthday forecast. Warm and sunny with scattered calls, cards, and presents. Extremely high chance of cakes and candles and occasional patches of feeling really old.
Old is when your friends compliment you on your new alligator shoes and you're barefoot.
Old is when you go to smooth the wrinkles in your hose and you realize you're not wearing any.
At my age, getting lucky means finding my car in the parking lot.
With age comes a special skill, which I call multitasking. I can laugh, cough, sneeze, fart, and pee all at the same time.
One of the delights of being a senior citizen is how easy it is to annoy young people. First, get into the car. Second, start the car. Third, turn the left signal indicator on. Fourth, leave it on for the next 50 miles while you drive below the speed limit.
Don't stress about your eyesight fading as you get older. It's nature's way of protecting you from shock when you look in the mirror.
When I get old, I'm not going to be sitting around knitting. I'm going to be clicking my life alert button to see how many cute firefighters show up.
Don't arrive at the end well preserved. Skid in sideways, champagne in one hand, chocolate in the other, body all used up and screaming, "Woo-hoo, what a ride!"
Getting older is like visiting an all-you-can-eat buffet. What should be hot is cold. What should be firm is limp. And the buns are bigger than anything else on the menu.
Very quietly, I confided to my husband on the eve of our 50th wedding anniversary that I was having an affair. He turned to me and asked, "Oh, are you having it catered?" And that, my friend, is the correct definition of old.
So you're an older citizen and can no longer take care of yourself, but the government says there's no nursing home care available for you. So what do? You opt for Medicare Plan G. That's what you do. This plan gives anyone 75 or older a gun, Plan G, and one bullet. You are allowed to shoot one worthless politician. This means you will be sent to prison for the rest of your life, where you will receive 3 meals a day, a roof over your head, central heating and air conditioning, cable TV, a library, and all the health care you need. Need new teeth? No problem. Need glasses? That's great. Need a hearing aid? New hip? Knees? Kidneys? Lungs? Sex change? A heart? They're all covered. As an added bonus, your kids can come and visit you at least as often as they do now. And who will be paying for all this? The same government that just told you they can't afford for you to go into a nursing home. And you will get rid of a useless politician while you're at it. And now, because you're a prisoner, you don't have to pay any more income tax. Is this a great country or what?
How do I know that my youth is all spent? Well, my get up and go is got up and went. But in spite of it all, I'm able to grin when I think of the places my get up has been.
Old age is golden, so I've heard said. But sometimes I wonder as I get into bed with my ears in a drawer, my teeth in a cup, and my eyes on the table till I wake up.
Ere sleep dims my eyes, I say to myself, is there anything else I can put on the shelf? And I'm happy to say as I close the door, my friends are the same, perhaps even more.
When I was a young thing, my slippers were red. I could kick my heels as high as my head. Then when I was older, my slippers were blue. But still, I could walk the whole day through.
Now I'm still older. My slippers are black. I walk to the store and puff my way back. The reason I know my youth is all spent, my get up and go has got up and went.
But really, I don't mind when I think with a grin of all the grand places my get-up has been. Since I've retired from life's competition, I busy myself with complete repetition.
I get up each morning and dust off my wits, pick up the paper and read the obits. If my name is missing, I know I'm not dead. So I eat a good breakfast and go back to bed.
Elaine's vertigo has been worse. Kay can't recall where she left her purse. Rhonda's about to replace her knees. Linda's breathing is tinged with a wheeze.
Donna's left boob has a troublesome lump. Diane's on her third trip to take a dump. Lorraine's husband can't remember a thing. 9 years a widow, Marge still wears her ring.
Marlene is dealing with another UTI. Sally's giving a hearing aid another try. Marie has decided she can't drive at night. Sharon still wears clothes 2 sizes too tight.
They've been through divorces and babies and wakes. They do for each other whatever it takes. They've already buried Marcia and Kate, and truthfully, Lizzie's not looking too great.
So, whenever they can, they get out to eat. Open bottles of wine and forget their sore feet. There's laughing and crying and letting down guards. And when the bill comes, there's 10 credit cards.
So here's to the waiters who keep orders straight, and to the places that lunches run 3 hours late. And here's to the girlfriends, those near and those far. Here's to the girlfriends, you know who you are.
It is common knowledge to every schoolboy and even every Bachelor of Arts that all sin is divided into 2 parts. One kind of sin is called a sin of commission, and that is very important. And it is what you are doing when you are doing something you oughtn't. And the other kind of sin is just the opposite and is called a sin of omission, and is equally bad in the eyes of all right-thinking people, from Billy Sunday to Buddha. And it consists of not having done something you should have. I might as well give you my opinion of these 2 kinds of sin, as long as, in a way, against each other we are pitting them. And that is, don't bother your head about the sins of commission, because however sinful, they must at least be fun, or else you wouldn't be committing them. It is the sin of omission, the second kind of sin, that lays eggs under your skin. The way you really get painfully bitten is by the insurance you haven't taken out, and the checks you haven't added up the stubs of, and the appointments you haven't kept, and the bills you haven't paid, and the letters you haven't written. Also, about sins of omission, there is one particularly painful lack of beauty. Namely, it isn't as though it had been a riotous red-letter day or night every time you neglected to do your duty. You didn't get a wicked, forbidden thrill every time you let a policy lapse or forgot to pay a bill. You didn't slap the lads in the tavern on the back and loudly cry, "Whee! Let's all fail to write just one more letter before we go home, and this round of unwritten letters is on me." No, you never get any fun out of things you haven't done. But they are the things that I do not like to be amid, because the suitable things you didn't do give you a lot more trouble than the unsuitable things you did. The moral is that it is probably better not to sin at all, but if some kind of sin you must be pursuing, well, remember to do it by doing rather than by not doing.
One morning, an elderly man comes into the church on crutches. He stops in front of the holy water and splashes it on both of his legs, then throws away his crutches. An altar boy witnesses the scene and runs into the rectory to tell the priest what he's just seen. Without batting an eye, the priest says, "Son, you have just witnessed a miracle. Tell me, where is this man?" "Over by the holy water, Father, flat on his back."
3 retirees, each with hearing loss, were playing golf one fine March day. One remarked to the other, "Windy, isn't it?" "No," the second man replied, "it's Thursday." Then the third man chimed in, "So am I. Let's have a beer."
A very elderly gentleman, mid-90s, very well dressed, hair well groomed, great-looking suit, flower in his lapel, smelling slightly of a good aftershave, walks into an upscale cocktail lounge. Seated at the bar is an elderly lady, mid-80s. The gentleman walks over, sits down beside her, orders a drink, takes a sip, turns to her and says, "So, tell me, do I come here often?"
A distraught senior citizen phoned her doctor's office. "Is it true that the medication you prescribed for me has to be taken for the rest of my life?" "Yes, I'm afraid so," the doctor told her. There was a moment of silence before the lady replied, "I'm wondering then, just how serious is my condition? This prescription is marked no refills."
Matthew went into Doc Stevenson's office for his annual checkup, and the doctor asked if there was anything unusual he should know about. Not sure what he should reply, Matthew told the doctor that he found it real strange how his suit must have shrunk just sitting in the closet, because it didn't fit when he had to put it on for a wedding recently. The doctor chuckled. "Suits don't shrink just sitting there. You probably just put it on a few pounds, Matthew." "That's just it, Doc. I know I haven't gained a single pound since the last time I wore it." "Well then," said the doctor, "you must have a case of furniture disease." Matt started scratching his head. What in the world is furniture disease? Furniture disease is that stage in life when your chest starts sliding down into your drawers.
2 guys were discussing their aging wives. One was quite sure his wife was going deaf. The other guy gave him a suggestion to test her hearing. "Here's what you do. Stand about 40 feet away from her and speak in a normal conversational tone and see if she hears you. If not, move up to 30 feet, then 20 feet, and so on until you get a response. So that evening, when she's in the kitchen cooking dinner and he's in the living room, he says to himself, I'm about 40 feet away. Let's try and see what happens. Honey, what's for supper? He calls. No response. So he moves to the other end of the room, about 30 feet away. Honey, what's for supper? No response. So he moves into the dining room, about 20 feet away. Honey, what's for supper? No response. So up to the kitchen door, only 10 feet away. Honey, what's for supper? Still no response. So he walks right up behind her. Honey, what's for supper? Thoroughly exasperated, the wife turns to him and yells, for the 5th time, chicken.
After examining his 85-year-old patient, the doctor said, "You're in remarkable shape for a man your age." "Yes, I know," said the old gentleman. "I have only one complaint. My sex drive is too high. Is there anything you can do for that, Doc?" "Your what?" gasped the doctor. "My sex drive," said the man. "It's too high, and I'd like to have you lower it if you can." "Lower it?" the doctor exclaimed, still unable to believe what the 85-year-old gentleman was saying. "Just what do you consider high?" "These days, it seems like it's all in my head, Doc," said the old man, "and I'd like to have you lower it a couple of feet if you can."
An elderly man walks into a confessional and tells the priest, I am 92 years old. I had a wonderful wife for 70 years, many children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Yesterday, I picked up 2 college girls hitchhiking. We went to a motel where I had sex with each of them 3 times. The priest looked at him. Are you sorry for your sins? The old man replied, What sins? What kind of Catholic are you? Demanded the priest. I'm not Catholic, I'm Jewish, laughed the old man. The priest was puzzled. Then why are you telling me all this? Well, I'm 92 years old. I'm telling everybody.
Did you hear about the cross-eyed teacher who lost her job because she couldn't control her pupils?
When you get a bladder infection, you're in trouble.
I stayed up all night to see where the sun went, and then it dawned on me.
England has no kidney bank, but it does have a liver pool.
I know a guy who's addicted to drinking brake fluid, but he says he can stop anytime.
A thief who stole a calendar got 12 months in jail.
A dentist and a manicurist married. They fought tooth and nail.
A will is a dead giveaway.
Police were summoned to a daycare center where a 3-year-old was resisting arrest.
Did you hear about the guy whose entire left side was cut off? He's all right now.
The guy who fell onto an upholstery machine last week is now fully recovered.
He had a photographic memory, but it was never fully developed.
Acupuncture is a jab well done. That's the point of it.
An Englishman has started his own business in Afghanistan. He's making landmines that look like prayer mats. It's doing well. Profits are going through the roof.
A boy asked his grandmother, "Have you seen my pills? They're labeled LSD." Granny replied, "Never mind your pills. Have you seen the dragons in the kitchen?"
The local news station was interviewing an 80-year-old lady because she had just gotten married for the 4th time. The interviewer asked her questions about her life, about what it felt like to be marrying again at 80, and then about her new husband's occupation. "He's a funeral director," she answered. "That's interesting," the newsman said. He then asked her to tell him a little about her first 3 husbands and what they did for a living. The woman had to think hard for a bit, then gave her answer with a smile. "I married my first husband in my 20s. He was a banker. Then in my 40s, I married a circus ringmaster. And in my 60s, a preacher. And now in my 80s, a funeral director." Astonished, the interviewer asked why she married men with such diverse occupations. With a twinkle in her eye, she explained, "I married 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready, and 4 to go."
A man and a woman had been married for more than 60 years. They had shared everything. They had talked about everything. They had kept no secrets from each other, except that the little old woman had a shoebox in the top of her closet, and that she had cautioned her husband never to open or ask about it. For all these years, the old man had never thought about the box. But one day, the little old woman got very sick, and the doctor said she would not recover. In trying to sort out their affairs, the little old man took down the shoebox and took it to his wife's bedside. She agreed it was time that he should know what was in the box. When he opened it, he found 2 crocheted dolls and a stack of money totaling $95,000. He asked her about the contents. "When we were to be married," she said, "my grandmother told me that the secret of a happy marriage was never to argue. She told me that if I ever got angry with you, I should just keep quiet and crochet a doll." The little old man was moved to tears. Only 2 precious dolls were in the box. She had only been angry with him 2 times in all those years of living and loving. He almost burst with happiness. "Honey," he said, "that explains the dolls, but what about all this money? Where did it come from?" "Oh," she said, "that's the money I made from selling the dolls."
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marge. Oh. Need to get my sea legs here. Thank you, Marjorie. I know you have many of these. You and Ann could probably
Paper
the lobby, huh?
Thank you.
Anyway, there's your poster and your certificate that says you were all here. Thank you. Thank you,
Most
readers.
of the thanks goes to this.
This is our last program until fall. We have scheduled most of the fall already. We have some good programs coming up. If you have something you would like, if you've heard somebody and you think they would be a good program for us, let one of the committee members know. That's why I introduced everyone. One of the reasons I introduced everybody today. So we'll see you all in the fall. Thanks for coming.
Somebody gonna let the stage down? Yeah, it's up.